At long last, we finally get to talk about the Game Boy Advance Power Rangers games. The Game Boy Advance has the most Power Rangers games to any system. 5. Unfortunately, I only own 3 of the 5, but I did finish Wild Force and Ninja Storm. First off, let's talk about Time Force. Now here's an interesting fun fact. This is the only Game Boy Advance Power Rangers game to not be made by Natsume. Mainly because Natsume was working on the Game Boy Color version. So, who did this game? Vicarious Visions, who has done many GBA games and other games as well at this time. So, how did they do? Well, they did pretty mediocre. Okay, this game is not terrible, but this is definitely not a good way to start off the GBA Power Rangers games. So, the plot's simple. Ransik escapes, you gotta track him down, beat up the bad guys, and fight Ransik. You start off the game as the Pink Ranger, Jen, but you easily revive the Red Ranger. You see, there are revives around each level, and if you end up losing a Power Ranger, you can get a revive, and they'll instantly revive the Ranger. Now, if you lost 2 or 3 Rangers, don't sweat. You are given an option to revive any Ranger. However, if you have all 5 Rangers alive and you get a revive, you get a continue. It is very easy to get continues in this game. Another interesting thing about this game is it actually has a hub world. It's very small, but there is one. Not really seen in many Power Rangers games, honestly. So anyway, onto the levels. There are only 5 levels. The Western, the Pirate level, Ancient Rome, Egypt, and the Prehistoric Land. So yes, only 5 levels, and each of them have 2 sections. And this means this is a very short game. In fact, I literally beat this game on my first sitting. It's a very easy game. Despite this game being really easy, there are some things that can be downright annoying. For example, the Red Romans in Ancient Rome and the Red Pirates in the Pirate level. These enemies can pack a major punch to you and you end up losing your Ranger really fast. It is very easy to die from these enemies. Another annoying thing is there's a lot of bottomless pits in a lot of these levels, and it's very easy to lose Power Rangers as well. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, there are revives, but it's very easy to lose them thanks to these damn bottomless pits. And then we have the ball spouts, which many of them could end up lasting for a while if you don't know how to use the sword or your gun properly with the special move by holding the B button. If not, these ball spouts could last a while. And I can't stand the Egypt boss. He just jumps all over the place. After you defeat the 5 levels, you fight Ransik. Don't worry, Ransik is nowhere near as hard as he was back in Time Force on Game Boy Color. He's really easy, you beat him, and that's it. The game is over. Yeah, it's a very short game and it's pretty iffy, but there are a few positives. For one thing, the music for the most part is good. The Egypt level is so damn catchy. I absolutely love the music in the Egypt level. All the other songs can be good or just downright bleh. Next up, the graphics are very colorful, and I think the reason they did this was because the Game Boy Advance screen at the time was very dark, so they had to end up making a game that was very colorful. Konami did a similar thing with Castlevania Harmony of the Dissonance a year later, making the game very colorful. And then another thing is, just like any other Power Rangers games, the Power Rangers play differently. The Pink Ranger is awesome because she jumps very high and it's very fun to speedrun with. The Red Ranger is your basic Ranger. The Yellow Ranger can pack a punch. The Green Ranger is pretty fast, and the Blue Ranger is just has fast kicks. That's really about it. I don't really use them that much. I just stick to the Red Ranger and Pink Ranger. Another thing I forgot to mention is that throughout the level there's also Quantum Ranger power-ups, which makes you transform into the Quantum Ranger and you're absolutely strong, which is nice. So yeah, overall, Time Force is just an okay game. It's not terrible by any means, but doesn't really do anything that makes it stand out. You end up beating this game pretty easily in your first inning, and it'll only take you about 25 to 30 minutes to beat. I will say this game can be pretty fun to speedrun with the Pink Ranger, just make sure you don't die. So yeah, Time Force is just an okay game. So now it's time to talk about Power Rangers Wild Force on the Game Boy Advance, exclusive to the Game Boy Advance. Redundant, much redundant. Well, it seems Vicarious Visions ended up getting the boot, so Natsume is back making Power Rangers games, and they remain making Power Rangers games throughout the GBA era. The moment you boot up this game, we immediately see something that's very interesting. Unlike the last Ranger games where you could pick your Ranger, this game actually has a team up feature. So yes, you can pick one of 5 to 6 Rangers, but you can also end up picking 3 other Rangers to help you out throughout the level. Now we get to the other major difference. Unlike the other games that are 2D brawlers, this game is an isometric brawler, which is really nice, for kind of the most part. Well, unfortunately though, they kind of ruined with one thing with the controls. A is the attack button. B is the jump button. What? How in the hell did you screw this up? Well, it's not the worst thing, mainly because the levels are pretty bare bones, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, you can pick up a Ranger, you can end up beating up enemies, you fight the boss, and then move on to the next level. There are branching pathways, which gives it replay value, so that's pretty nice. There's also paths where it's just like any other Power Rangers game. Let's talk about this partner system. If you press the L button, one of your 3 ally Power Rangers end up showing up, and they beat up the enemies doing a partner move, which is pretty nice. However, one annoyance is that they're in order. So if you want the Red Ranger to show up, you'll have to use the Yellow Ranger or Blue Ranger or whatever ally Ranger you choose, and then you have to use the Red Ranger again, which is kind of annoying. The game, for the most part, is really easy, aside from some of the bosses which you encounter at the end of each level. At the end of each level, you end up doing the Megazord battles, and this is a gigantic step up. You might notice I didn't even mention the Megazord battles in my Time Force review. Well, it's pretty obvious. They suck. They were just mashing buttons and you just pray to God you end up winning. Well, here, you have to mash buttons at the right order to do a special move and just punch the boss again and again. A major step up. So mostly, the presentation and graphics and the music is a major step up from Time Force. However, though, there is one problem with this game. The levels are extremely bare bones. All you do is go to one room, beat up orcs, go to another room, beat up orcs, go to another room, beat up orcs, fight the boss, again and again and again and again for about 5 to 6 to 7 levels. This could get really tedious pretty fast, and that's kind of one of the biggest problems with this game. It just gets very tedious. I guess because how they messed up the control scheme of this game is probably why they ended up making the levels bare bones. I mean, think about it. Imagine there's platforming, you have to use B to jump and A to punch. That will just absolutely confuse the living hell out of players. Another issue, and this is kind of a nitpick, some of the Rangers are absolutely OP in this game. The Black Ranger is so powerful because he could just throw enemies around. Around the halfway mark, you get the White Ranger, and he's also OP. He's fast as hell, and he has this dangerous pipe that just kills enemies so quickly. Just use those 2 Power Rangers and you're good to go. Another thing that's really funny is the running animation. It's just so damn hilarious. So overall, Power Rangers Wild Force is actually a major step up from Time Force. Graphics, music is a lot better. The controls are questionable, but they're doable. The Megazord battles are much better than they were in Time Force. The problem is that the game can get pretty redundant fast, and there's just not much of replayability with this one. However, though, this game did grow into me. I didn't really like it as much when I first played through it, but after playthroughing it again, it actually was a lot funner. Maybe it also has to do with some of the branching paths that I decided to take. So overall, Wild Force is a pretty decent game. Not the best Power Rangers game, but doable. Next up, we're going to talk about Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder. See you guys then.